Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission here, well, it's simple. We sift through everything out there, fan theories, production whispers, those little social media slips, and we boil it down, structure it, and give you the essential knowledge. Today, we are strapping in for a deep dive into the, let's face it, unpredictable world of daytime TV. Specifically, CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful.
That's right. And for those of you who follow the show, you know this one's big. We're focusing entirely on that major event fans are buzzing about, the upcoming wedding of Hope Logan and Liam Spencer, or Lope, as everyone calls them.
Yep, Lope.
We've really dug into every hint, every confirmation we could find to figure out not just who's showing up, but why. What's the strategy behind bringing back these big characters, even just for a short time? Because this wedding, it isn't just a wedding, is it? It feels more like a narrative reset button.
Totally. Our sources are confirming that, okay, the wedding currently has no confirmed air date yet, but the producers have definitely been filming. And we've got solid info on 3 huge character returns being teased. 2 are basically confirmed, one's heavily hinted at.
And these aren't random appearances. They feel very calculated. Their presence, we think, signals a massive shift in the core dynamics of the whole show. We might actually be looking at the end of some of B&B's longest-running love triangles. For real this time.
Okay, let's hope so.
Our mission today is to break down who these 3 returning characters are and exactly what their strategic value is to the story. We're using production hints, specific lines from the show, even background stuff caught on camera as evidence.
Right.
The show seems to be using this wedding as a turning point. A moment to clear the board of all those old romantic knots before, presumably, starting a whole new cycle of drama.
Okay, so let's unpack this huge development. Let's start with the return that's, well, it's hinted at, but it's not officially confirmed through some big announcement or leak. This one's built entirely on something subtle, but, structurally pretty significant in soaps. We're talking about the anticipated return of Liam's half-brother, Wyatt Spencer, played by Darren Brooks.
Ah, the soap opera name drop. We talk about this a lot, don't we? Because in TV drama, especially on a show like B&B where everyone's connected, just mentioning a name, it's rarely just filler dialogue. Yeah. It's almost always a kind of low-key foreshadowing. It's like a little signal to the dedicated viewers saying, hey, this character might be off-screen, but they're still relevant. And maybe, just maybe, they're coming back.
And that's the anchor for this whole Wyatt speculation. Production whispers confirm Wyatt was name-dropped in a recent episode. Liam was talking about the wedding, the plans, getting excited.
Right, and who was he talking to?
Exactly. Think about the scene. Liam was with his brother, Will Spencer, his dad, Bill Spencer, and his ex-stepmom, Katie Logan. It was like the core Spencer-Logan family meeting about this big event.
Yeah.
So for Wyatt to be missing from the room but still mentioned in the conversation, that feels like the biggest clue we need. Why even bring him up if he wasn't going to pop in for the actual wedding?
Well, if you look at the analysis from the sources, it strongly suggests they had to mention him because his absence from other massive, way more critical events recently, it apparently caused some serious fan backlash.
Oh, yeah.
So the speculation now is that Darren Brooks pretty much has to return for, say, an episode or 2, maybe 3, just long enough to make the family unit look whole for the wedding and, frankly, smooth over those past fan complaints.
And the analysis of why he absolutely must return, that's where the source material gets really fascinating because it highlights this whole history of what fans have called, major narrative oversights.
Right.
The consensus across the fan forums we looked at is that it would be just awful if Liam's brother missed the wedding, especially because Wyatt's been MIA for almost every life-altering, high-stakes thing involving Liam lately.
And this is really critical context for understanding the show's strategy right now. If B&B wants us, the audience, to actually buy into this idea of a cohesive, tight-knit Spencer family unit, especially given how complicated things have been between Liam and Wyatt over the years, they just can't justify Wyatt missing another huge milestone.
No way.
The fan reactions we analyzed specifically point to 2 recent missed opportunities where people were really vocal about it.
Okay, the first one, and maybe the most emotionally charged, was that whole storyline where everyone, Hope, Steffi, everyone thought Liam had a fake brain tumor and was actually dying.
Oh, that was intense.
Right, a life or death crisis, a moment of huge family trauma, and yet no Wyatt. Where was his brother during all that? It was just noticeable. It really detracted from believing in that family bond,
Exactly. And the second big one was when Liam got shot. Again, intense physical danger, police involved, deep trauma for the family.
And still no Wyatt.
Still no Wyatt, nowhere to be found. The fan reaction to those absences was pretty immediate. A lot of people calling it a travesty, arguing it just makes no sense given how deep their brotherly connection is supposed to be, even with all the women they've fought over.
Mm-hmm.
So, dropping his name now, while planning a happy, defining family event like a wedding, it really feels like a deliberate attempt to kind of retroactively fix those omissions.
Wait, hold on, though. We have to talk about the sheer absurdity of him not showing up for those things and contrast it with the one, like, tiny appearance Wyatt did make recently.
Oh, God, yeah.
Liam faces a potentially fatal brain tumor. Wyatt's gone. Liam gets shot. Wyatt's vanished.
But he came back just to deliver house keys to R.J. Forrester for the beach house.
That detail is just, it's gold because it perfectly highlights the problem, doesn't it? That move was widely called ridiculous by fans.
Completely ridiculous. To spend the money and screen time to bring back a major character for something as mundane as handing over keys, but completely skip two potentially fatal crises, it really shows the show was either struggling with scheduling or, maybe worse, just saw Wyatt as a convenient plot device, like a glorified errand runner.
Right, like, oh, we need someone to drop off keys. Call Darren.
Pretty much. It suggests he only shows up when the writers need someone to do a quick task.
I love that detail. It's like dedication to mediocrity right there. That alone justifies the fan outrage, honestly.
It does.
So given this history of missing the big dramatic moments
Mhm.
and how completely farcical that recent key delivery thing was, the name drop now, plus all that fan criticism,
Yeah.
it strongly implies the show kind of has a narrative duty now to make it right. They have to bring him back for the wedding.
Yeah, it feels almost essential for audience satisfaction at this point, even if it's just for one scene, just to give that necessary appearance of family support. It's basically the show signaling, okay, we hear you about neglecting family ties. Wyatt doesn't need to cause drama at the ceremony. No surprise objections or anything like that.
No.
His mere presence is enough. It provides that essential family validation and support for Liam and Hope. It makes sure the Spencer family finally looks like a unified front for a happy event. So yeah, while the return is technically only hinted at, the context makes that hint incredibly strong and necessary.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so the Wyatt analysis is compelling from that family angle. But let's pivot now. Let's talk Thomas Forrester, Matt Atkinson, because his return, it isn't about fixing a past family mistake. It feels much more strategic, like preventing a future one. This is where it gets really interesting. We're moving to the first confirmed actual blockbuster return.
Right. Thomas, he's been both the magnetic north and the destructive force in Hope's life, professionally and romantically, for years now. So his return, even a brief one, just can't be insignificant. The whispers around the production confirm this isn't just like a polite wedding guest popping in. This return seems laser-focused on achieving final, undeniable emotional closure for Hope and Liam. For Lope.
And we have solid confirmation on this one, straight from production, so no doubt here. Producer Casey Casabay posted it on Instagram, confirmed Thomas was back on set, and crucially, the detail was specific. Thomas was filming for a week.
A week, right. A short, concentrated block of time. That clearly signals a short-term commitment, not him rejoining the cast full-time.
Exactly.
That 1 week filming window strongly suggests they're writing the final scene, maybe the final chapter, for Thomas's role as a romantic threat to Hope, setting him up for a clear exit, or at least a long break where Hope definitively no longer sees him as a potential partner. The whole point seems to be making Hope and Liam's relationship absolutely rock solid, unshayable.
And to understand why this closure needs to be so definitive, we need to remember Hope's own words recently, leading up to this leak. Just a couple of weeks before, she had this really revealing chat with her brother, Diak. She talked about 2 key areas that were hit hard when Thomas left.
Right. The first was professional. Hope admitted she was having trouble finding her creative groove again with the Hope for the Future line after Thomas bounced. She actually said, despite everything professionally, they worked together so well.
Which is a huge concession, right? Separating Thomas, the brilliant designer, from Thomas, the manipulative stalker.
Exactly. But she immediately followed that professional point with a really critical personal reflection. And this is the part that really landed with the fans. Hope told Diak exactly why she and Thomas could never work as a couple, despite any chemistry they might have had.
And what was the reason?
She stated, point blank, that Thomas's role in keeping the secret about Beth being alive, when Hope and Liam thought their baby daughter had died, was just too much to overcome. And that line, that direct statement, that was the moment that gave fans the narrative resolution they'd been screaming for, just to remind you how unbelievably massive that betrayal was. Thomas knowingly let Hope grieve her supposedly dead child for months.
Knowing Beth was alive.
Knowing Beth was alive, being raised by Steffi, basically.
Yeah.
That level of psychological torture and manipulation, it's why a romantic future always felt impossible, frankly, to most of the audience. The reports confirm a lot of fans really appreciated her acknowledging that, because it finally put that core betrayal front and center, making any future Thope romance feel narratively dead in the water.
Okay, so that confirms the reason for Thomas's return has to be closure. If the wedding is happening later in the year, like maybe the holidays is hinted, the timing works perfectly. Thomas comes back, maybe after months away, reflecting or whatever, gives Hope that clean, final, non-threatening break before she marries Liam.
And given that short filming schedule, we can probably guess pretty closely what that narrative arc looks like. Thomas is almost certainly not coming back to, like, object at the wedding.
No.
He is much more likely to find Hope alone beforehand, maybe at Forrester Creations, maybe somewhere neutral. He'll visit her, offer sincere congratulations, and tell her straight up that she belongs with Liam.
But to make that closure actually stick, for the audience anyway, he needs to take real accountability.
Yeah, right.
Without any of his usual manipulation.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey.
The analysis suggests he might tell Hope he's done a lot of reflecting and finally gets that his obsession with her was never healthy.
Okay.
And here's where the dialogue could get really dramatic and really important. The specific words he uses matter a lot here. The reports suggest he might even use the phrase that their relationship was always like, fruit from the poison tree.
Ooh, fruit from the poison tree. Wow.
Yeah. It's a legal concept, also kind of poetic, right? It means evidence, or in this case, a relationship, that comes from an illegal or toxic source, like the whole Beth deception is itself tainted. It can't be valid. Using that specific phrase would dramatically nail down the finality of it all. It would show Thomas understands the root of the problem was his manipulation from the start.
Wait, fruit from the poison tree? That sounds incredibly poetic for his soap apology. It's like almost too scripted, too neat. Are fans really going to buy that level of sudden self-awareness from Thomas? I mean, this is the guy who used his own son to manipulate Hope.
That's a totally fair question. But the fact that the show might be scripting something that's sophisticated probably shows how committed they are to ending the Thope thing cleanly. It's the writers basically making sure that narrative door is bolted shut, you know?
Okay.
They want the apology to be memorable, definitive, unarguable. He's not just saying, oops, sorry. He's laying out the philosophical reason why they could never work. He's admitting the whole foundation was rotten.
That distinction does make it powerful, I guess.
Yeah.
He'd also need to admit Hope was right to turn down both his proposals, right? And that he still needs more work to do on himself before he can have a healthy relationship with anyone.
Yes, exactly. That would be the fully mature, self-aware Thomas fans have kind of hoped for. One who finally picks emotional health over trying to control Hope.
And the closure can't just be with Hope, right? Logically, he has to talk to Liam, too. Give him that long overdue apology for everything that went down with Beth and with Hope.
Oh, absolutely necessary. Liam needs that to fully move on, too, to accept Thomas is out of the picture romantically. If Thomas can genuinely tell Liam he knows Liam will make Hope happy and wish them well, that completely neutralizes him as a threat.
And this serves that bigger picture goal you mentioned, tying up loose ends, clearing the deck. This Thomas closure plan connects directly back to that conversation Steffi had with Hope recently.
Right, where Steffi, Thomas's sister, told Hope point blank that she and Liam were meant to be. A total endorsement.
Yeah.
That Steffi-Hope chat was widely seen as like the first big move in finally putting a lid on that Steffi-Liam-Hope love triangle once and for all. Steffi backing Lope completely, plus her being solid with Finn. It really suggested the show was aiming for unambiguous happiness for Hope and Liam.
Finally.
Thomas's return then acts like the final nail in the coffin for that whole era of love triangles, making sure there's no leftover bad blood or unresolved feelings to dig up later.
So if this arc plays out like we think, Thomas takes full, maybe even poetic responsibility, wishes them well, and leaves the suspicion, even among diehard Thope shippers, is that Brad Beal and the writers are really putting the nail in the coffin of Thope, like for good this time, maybe for years.
And yeah, maybe sadly for fans of that pairing, the short one-week filming schedule really does suggest Matt Atkinson might just be a rare one-off appearance for the foreseeable future. The immediate goal seems to be peace, stability, and absolute clarity for Hope and Liam. Let them have their moment, and let the show finally move into new conflicts that aren't about who Hope or Liam should pick.
Fascinating. Okay, so we've got Wyatt, the necessary family member, and Thomas, the crucial agent of closure. Let's move to the third big confirmation. And this one's the most surprising, I think, because of how it was revealed. Not through a producer's planned post, but through a total accident, a behind-the-scenes slip-up. We're talking about the return of Douglas Forrester.
Yeah, this return with the young actor Henry Samiri was confirmed thanks to some seriously good fan detective work on social media. It's like a perfect example of how production leaks often happen, right? Not through official announcements or anything written down, but just background details accidentally caught on camera by cast members who are just trying to share their day.
So the source was an Instagram post from Catherine Kelly Lang, who plays Brooke Logan, Hope's mom. She was in the hair and makeup room, probably just posting an update about her filming day or something.
Right.
But the key evidence wasn't Brooke. It was right there in the background of her shot. A monitor, showing what they were actually taping that day.
And clear as day on that monitor, eagle-eyed fans spotted Henry Samiri filming scenes as Douglas. And what makes it definitive is the context, right? Kelly Lang herself is wearing this very striking gown, which heavily suggested she was dressed for a big event like a wedding, and you could see the filming slate on the monitor too.
Wow.
Sharp viewers even picked out costume details for Douglas.
Right. The visual specifics noted were that he looked like he was in a suit. And you don't put a kid in a formal suit for just any old scene at the office. That points directly towards something formal, like a wedding.
Yeah, exactly. And naturally, Hope would absolutely love to have her adoptive son there when she marries Liam again. Douglas is such a key part of their family unit.
Totally.
He was also always very attached to Liam, who was his stepdad for a good while. His presence just adds genuine emotional weight to the ceremony. It validates the family they've built, separate from all the drama swirling around them.
And that immediately makes you wonder about his role in the actual ceremony, doesn't it? Our analysis brought up that Douglas has been central to Lope's commitment ceremonies before. Didn't Douglas do their vows when they got married at the cabin that one time?
He did, yeah. So, given how important he is, and this whole focus on family healing and unity, it seems highly possible, maybe even expected, that Douglas will be part of the ceremony again, maybe alongside his little sister, Beth.
Ah, that'd be sweet.
That would be the ultimate full circle moment for the Loke family, right? Showing off that blended family built around the kids. However, we do need to inject a bit of logistical reality here, especially about the actor's availability.
Right. The fact is, Henry Samiri, he's a busy young actor.
Yeah.
He's super busy with other pretty high-profile TV shows. The sources mentioned The Pit and that sci-fi show Invasion. His commitments outside B&B are pretty significant.
Yeah. So the logical conclusion, unfortunately, is that Douglas is probably only back for the wedding itself. And since we know Thomas's filming schedule was just that 1 week,
And Thomas is his dad.
and Thomas is his biological dad, it seems almost certain that Douglas will just leave again with Thomas. This scenario fits perfectly, reinforcing the short-term, very specific nature of both returns.
Okay.
Thomas comes back, gets his closure, brings his son for the wedding ceremony to validate Hope and Liam getting back together, and then poof, the pair leaves again. It ensures Douglas's presence doesn't immediately kick off some new custody battle right after the wedding confetti settles. It keeps the slate clean, at least for a bit.
Okay, so we have the pieces lined up. Wyatt, the essential family member, showing up. Thomas, the agent of closure, making things final. And Douglas, providing that necessary family validation at the ceremony. But when do we actually get to see this wedding? We've got the 3 key returns confirmed, sort of, through various leaks, but still no official air date.
Right.
But we can start to narrow it down, can't we? By connecting the dots between that filming schedule info and how long it usually takes for soaps to get episodes on air.
Yes, and this is where the source material gives us a really specific, really crucial clue. When Matt Atkinson, Thomas, was confirmed to be back filming his short stint, the production whispers confirmed they were specifically shooting scenes intended to air during the Christmas episode's timeframe.
Okay, that's the calendar marker we needed.
Yeah.
Given the usual lead time between filming and broadcast, there's often, 6 to 8 weeks for soaps?
Yeah, around that.
That strongly suggests that the Hope and Liam's wedding planning may carry on into the holidays.
Which opens up the very exciting possibility of a big Christmas or a New Year's Eve holiday wedding. And why does that matter? Well, those holiday episodes often line up with ratings sweeps periods, Viewership tends to be higher,
Good point.
so the show is way more likely to put a bigger budget towards those episodes, maybe more extravagant sets, maybe even filming somewhere off-site, something splashy and fitting for such a high-profile reunion for Lope. It just maximizes the emotional punch of the closure and the family celebration.
Okay, let's pull it all together then. Synthesize these three returns into one big narrative strategy. We've got Wyatt for that crucial family support, Thomas for permanent emotional closure, getting rid of that lingering romantic doubt, and Douglas for the ceremony itself, the family connection. Every single return seems designed purely to validate Hope and Liam getting back together.
It really feels like an incredibly calculated, almost beautifully orchestrated strategy, and it seems aimed at achieving one main goal: completely solidifying Hope and Liam's relationship, making sure there are no lingering romantic threats or unresolved conflicts hanging over them.
Yeah.
The show is actively, deliberately removing the core tension, those love triangles that have driven Hope's and Liam's stories for years. They're not just letting Thomas disappear off-screen vaguely, they're bringing him back specifically to formalize his exit from her romantic life and set the stage for whatever comes next.
So this deep dive really concerns a clear, calculated strategy from the producers. They're using this wedding as a major narrative inflection point, a moment designed to resolve all those big old love triangles and basically wipe the narrative slate clean.
Which implies that whatever drama comes next for The Bold and the Beautiful, it has to be something new, something fresh, something we don't know about yet. They're sacrificing years of reliable love triangle storylines for this moment of stability. Well, it's a risky move, but potentially really rewarding for a show that's been on so long.
Okay, so to quickly recap the key takeaways from digging through all this source material, we have three key returns, all seemingly designed to support and solidify this Lope wedding.
Right. First, Wyatt, the essential brother. Confirmed via that strategic name drop, his presence feels required to fix those past narrative blunders, especially when you remember that ridiculous key delivery, and just provide basic family support.
Second, Thomas,
Yeah.
the agent of closure. Confirmed by that producer's Instagram post detailing the one-week filming stint, he seems to be returning specifically to admit his fixation was like fruit from the poison tree and definitively shut down the Thope era, which lines up with what Steffi already told Hope.
And finally, Douglas, the surprise sighting. Confirmed accidentally thanks to that background monitor and Catherine Kelly Lang's Instagram shot a perfect example of fan detective work paying off. He's crucial for the ceremony, but his actor's busy schedule means he'll probably leave again right after with Thomas.
And crucially, thanks to that filming timeline hint, knowing they were shooting holiday episodes when Thomas was back, we're likely looking at a Christmas or New Year's Eve air date for this long-awaited Lope wedding. And just how these returns were revealed, the name drop, the producer post, the accidental background sighting, it really shows how much we can figure out when we treat these production leaks like real source material for analysis.
Absolutely. And this whole calculated cleansing of the relationship slate, it brings us to our final provocative thought, something for you, the listener, to chew on while we wait for those holiday episodes.
Okay, so if Bold and the Beautiful is so aggressively, so publicly putting a lid on the major love triangles, the Steffi and Hope saga, the whole Thomas Hope dynamic, the stuff that has basically fueled the show for years, provided its core dramatic engine. What's next? What dramatic new conflict, what new character dynamic must they introduce to replace that fundamental romantic tension?
Right. That soap opera narrative vacuum, it has to be filled, and probably quickly.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a completely new villain showing up at Forrester Creations? Will the focus shift hard to corporate drama, maybe pulling Bill Spencer back into a major scheme?
Yeah.
Or is the show planning to bring in a powerful new character just to go after Liam? Or maybe Hope kicking off a fresh cycle of drama? Maybe something that isn't even a triangle?
Something to definitely mull over while we wait for that big holiday wedding.